Okay, this should be fun. I have not done one of these in forever. Today we're talking about disappointing products. Hey guys, it's Rhea. So today is the perfect day to do disappointing products because it was my very last day at work, forever, at this particular workplace, forever. It's 30 degrees outside, Celsius, and there's no air conditioning, so it's hot. And I am drinking a beer, so I should be sufficiently like catty, I guess, when it comes to these products to make this entertaining enough. Also, this is pool hair. I went swimming yesterday and I'm going swimming tomorrow. There's no point in doing anything to your hair when you're swimming often. This is actual like beach hair, so that's why it looks the way it does. And I'm not gonna apologize because let me tell you, when you have no air conditioning in 30-degree weather, having a friend with a pool is like stumbling upon a piece of gold on the street. Like, it's wonderful. All right, so let's get into these products. I was looking over my channel today because I was actually planning on doing like the best things I've purchased this year, but I've only done like 4 hauls in the year, and there hasn't been a ton in them. So I just kept coming across like things I didn't like. And I was like, oh, I hauled that. Oh yeah, I remember, I don't like that. And there's always, when I do this type of video, there is always at least one product that it really inspires it. So I'm gonna start out with that because the other day in my shower, I used this and I was like, this needs to go in the trash. But before that, it needs to go in a disappointing products video. And that is this. This is the brand Indeed Laboratories, the Watermelon Melting Balm, B-A-L-M, Hydrating Cleansing Balm. We all know like these balm type makeup removers have become very, very popular in the last couple of years. This actually also says with watermelon and hemp seed oil. Hemp seeding, I know cannabis sativa seed, have also become very popular. I was like on board for this. In the haul where I hauled this, I was so excited about this. It just looked so appealing. Like the packaging looked so appealing. Something about it being watermelon was so appealing. What's inside does not match what they have described on the outside. So, and it also says it's hydrating. It is not hydrating. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what this looks like. It's very gloopy. And I'm gonna put a lot here because I'm gonna throw it on anyway, and I want you to see. So the product and the oil have like they're kind of separate. They've kind of separated, and it's been that way since day one with this product. Like, can you see? That's like the oil. Sometimes like facial oils are awesome. There's some facial oils that I really, really like. There's a couple of reasons I do not like this product. A, the scent is atrocious. Like, it literally just smells like chemicals. There's nothing appealing about it. When you see watermelon, like, don't you think, oh my gosh, like it's gonna smell fresh and like watermelon? Even if it didn't smell just like watermelon, like even if they don't want to add a fake scent into it, like make it smell pleasant. I don't know, it smells awful. So here we go. Halfway down the ingredients, one of them is cannabis sativa seed oil. And then it says Citrullus vulgaris, like parentheses, watermelon seed oil. What the hell is watermelon oil? Like, isn't watermelon just water? Like, where do they get the oil part? I've never heard of this. Anyways, I'm getting real angry about it. Just because I don't know about something is making me mad. Like so many ignorant people in the world. Anyways, okay, it also says fragrance free. So obviously like whatever ingredients are in these are like the natural fragrance of it because it's not a fake fragrance. Here's the reason I really hate this. Really, really hate, and I do hate this product, and it's going in the garbage. I'm not even gonna use it up. It sticks to your skin. So many balms, like if you get the pharmacy one, for example, or even like the Drunk Elephant one, I'm sure there's a bunch. They're balmy, they're like solid, and then your hand warms it up, it becomes a liquid, you rub it all over your face, and then you wash your face. Sometimes they leave behind kind of a hydrating feeling, but most often they don't leave any product behind or anything like that. This actually sticks to your face to the point where you have to scrub it to get it off and rinse. I have to rinse my face at least 4 separate times and then go in with a cleanser on top to actually get it to come off. It has this just cloying, like oily, greasy, cloying, it's never gonna come off your skin type feeling, and it's just disgusting. So, no to this. Big fat no to this. Here's a product, it could just be my sensitivities, because I don't think this is bad, I just really don't like the scent of it. This is the Nivea Essentials Urban Skin Defense Day Moisturizer SPF 20. I bought this in the height of quarantine when I couldn't get my regular SPF, so I just went to the drugstore and this was like $8. And I used a lot of it, like it's almost gone. And I'm kind of debating whether I should finish it up or not, because there really isn't a ton. But the fragrance in this is so intense. And I think the product, like I'm breathing, it's choking me just like having it open. I think products like this, especially drugstore, is like so, they're like the biggest culprit. I feel like drugstore skincare is such a big culprit when it comes to like adding fragrance into skincare. Like we don't need unnecessary fragrance. It does nothing. Except, I know I was just complaining I would have liked it in this, but unless you're covering up some horrible scents, you don't need to add fragrance in. It never really totally settled into my skin, and it would ball up off of my face. A lot of sunscreens do that, so sometimes I give them a pass. Not all of them do. Good ones usually don't. But sometimes they do that where they ball up. But really, it's just the fragrance. Like, it's so intense that it makes me want to choke, and it also makes my eyes water, which is a terrible feeling when you're like wearing makeup and you think your eyes are going to water because of your sunscreen, you know? Okay, moving on. This is a product that I kept hearing about. By the way, I am sorry about that beeping. My dishwasher was in the middle of a cycle and I decided to film a video, so I stopped it, but then it gets mad and it's like, no, I actually need to run, so hey, reminder that you turned me off, and it beeps every minute. So I kept hearing about this Essence liquid liner from Tara Babies, and I kept looking for it, and I could not find the one she was talking about. And I'm still not even sure that this is the one she was talking about. It might not be. Like, her recommendation might be completely different, because I don't remember it looking like this on her channel, but this is the Essence Super Precise Eyeliner. It says long lasting and waterproof. This is a brush tip liner, which is my favorite type, and I actually have this exact packaging is what my favorite matte liquid liner comes in, which is the NYX one. It's just called the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. This one does not say that it's matte, which is good because it would be lying. The reason I don't like this is because it is A, shiny, and B, sheer. And so maybe if it dries, I can get you to see up close. So this looks like, to me, like kind of more gray than black. It's definitely not the most pigmented liner in the world. I'm not gonna wait for it to dry because it does take a little while, but this is the NYX one right next to it. This is the one I really, really like. And I think you can tell just kind of like looking at it quickly just how much more pigmented and dark and black the NYX one is compared to the Essence one. And the other thing is too, when I'm wearing the Essence one, when I've tried to wear it, when I put it on, I feel like it's even more pronounced than it is even in a swatch. Like, I have to go over it a couple times to build it up to where I really want it to be. There are a couple things that I don't actually have with me anymore. I kind of feel like being on a low buy, being on a budget, tell me, for those of you that are as well, like, do you feel more harsh towards things that don't work out for you? Because I feel like that. I feel like if I only have a certain budget to put towards makeup, then if something doesn't work out, and worse if it's bad, then I get even angrier at it because I just feel like you've wasted my little budget that I had towards something that I could have loved, but I don't, you know? So one of those things for me, all of this is to say that I've started returning things for sure if I know I don't like them. So I do not have this, but this is the Morphe 25A Artist Pass palette. So I'll put a like picture here. And I did do a video on this. You can actually see it in action, just how difficult it was to use. The look in the end came out really nice. The blending took, no word of a lie, double the amount of time to get it blended out. It was just so choppy, so stark, the edges would not blend, It was the opposite of effortless. Like, it was so difficult to use. And then I had to actually go into another palette because the brown that I was using, the matte brown in that palette, was so chalky, it just kept blending away. And it would not build up because it was such a terrible, terrible formula. So I actually had to go into an Anastasia palette just to build up the dark brown that I wanted. But then it also had this really cute, like really cool formula in it, which was these little glitter stars. So in a pressed palette, which was really cool. Like, you don't see that very much. And it was kind of in a gel suspension in a way, but it did not stick to the eyes. I even went in with a glitter glue and it still wouldn't stick to the eyes. Like, that's pretty bad when an intense glitter glue cannot get a glitter to stay on your lids. That was just one look. Tried it a couple more times, had very similar results. I used another glitter in that palette that just like fell off in chunks, and it had the most intense glitter fallout all over the face that would not wipe away. So you just had glitter all over your face all day. It was just so many things bad and wrong about it, which is a shame because I really love that concept. I saw that they came out with another 25 pan palette, and the way that they put them together and the color stories, like, they're so appealing, and that's what kind of drew me to that palette in the first place. But the formula was just whacked. Like, it was just terrible. So obviously I'm just against Morphe in general now. I don't like any of their palettes that I've ever tried, really, ever. So I am done buying Morphe, just done. So next, another thing that I don't have here, but it's not because I returned it, I actually used it up, is the brand High, and it's, again, cannabis sativa seed oil. When this trend first came out, like, I was kind of like, is it really something that I want to try, or is it just like trendy for trendy's sake? And I just decided to try an eye cream. Okay, so I got this brand High, and it's called the High IQ Eye Gel, and it had beautiful packaging, beautiful green glass bottle with a pump, but that stuff dried out my under eyes. Like, it didn't do anything worse than that, worse than drying it out, but they were dry. It was not moisturizing at all, period, and I wouldn't buy it again. Something that I didn't even show on my channel because I returned it before I could even haul it was the Drunk Elephant sunscreen. I think it's called the Urban Defense, Umbra Urban Defense. I had seen this for a long time. I had actually heard really good things about it. And when I was looking for a sunscreen to buy, this one just kind of, well, I was in the store and I think I saw it there. So it was a pretty good value too, compared to other Sephora branded, well, other brands in Sephora, price points. And it just was awful. So I got it, brought it home, started using it. And you know, when you start out using something, you don't know what it's supposed to be like. You don't know what the consistency is supposed to be like. So you don't know if you got a dud, right? This stuff was so bizarre. It was white, and you would squeeze it out. I would put it all over my face, and it had these little white specks in it. Like, specks that were all over the face. Wouldn't like break down. You know how sometimes you'll get a product and it has balls in it, but they're supposed to be there, and they'll like break apart when you massage it in your face? It wasn't like that, but I thought maybe it could be. Do you know what I mean? Because I've never tried this thing before. Anyways, it was terrible. The balls would not break down. They were white all over my face, and I was just like, this must be a dud. Like, it can't possibly be like this. So I took it back to the store, and the girl wasn't snotty about it, but I could tell she didn't believe me. I was like, yeah, I'm returning this because I think there's something wrong with it. And she's like, well, it's not expired. What do you want from me? It's not working. Returned it. This is more of just not so much like I'm angry at it or like I hate it. It's just a little bit disappointing, and I wish it was a little bit better. This is the September Rose Slush palette. I had only heard about this from some channels that showcase indie makeup. I had never really seen it other than that, but when I saw it, you know, opened up, it looks absolutely stunning because it's so colorful, and of course that drew me in. So it's basically a rainbow palette. You've got your pinks, oranges, greens, blues, and purples, and of course that all was very appealing to me. When I first got this, I used it a ton. Like I really did use this, I think straight. It was the only palette I used for good like 2 weeks or so. And I definitely got some pretty looks out of it. But the only thing, there's 2 things I don't like about it. There's actually 3 things. There's 4 things I don't like about it. Some of the mattes aren't as pigmented as they look in the palette. This is a perfect example. This orange here. This looks like bright neon orange. I know that you, I'm talking to you right now. I know you have a palette in your collection that has better pigmentation than this. Yes, of course, we all do. We all have those palettes where they just swatch and it's like, this is like, it's just not that great. And they're not all of them are like that. They're just a little hit and miss. This also has that kind of shimmer formula that gets a little bit gummy. So it's almost like the shimmer / satins in certain palettes. Morphe is a great example of this. This is where I see it all the time with Morphe palettes. The shimmers get not so much hard pan, but they just kind of like get a little bit gummed together on the top layer, and that does translate over into the actual eyeshadow itself. When you go to put it on your lid with a flat brush, for example, it just doesn't really spread smoothly as compared to other formulas that are better. My next complaint with this palette is that there just aren't enough shimmers. Like I feel like every row should have a shimmer that really complements it. This one is fine. The blue's fine. The blue shimmer, beautiful, it goes. This row doesn't have any shimmer. So when you're working with the greens, there's no beautiful green shimmer to pair with this. And then the orange, you have 2. You have this one here and this one, which is more of a red. And the purple is actually fine with me as well. The problem with this row here is that it's pinks, but it has a purple shimmer instead of a pink shimmer, which makes no sense to my brain. So you've got a purple shimmer over here and another one over here. And it's kind of like, well, I'd love to have a pink shimmer to go with the pink row, but they just aren't giving that to you. So the color story is also, like at first glance, it looks really, really beautiful. But when you break it down and you actually start working with it, to somebody who has experience with a plethora of different palettes from different companies, you start to see these things because you have your own way of doing things, right? Like we all have our go-to looks. For me, it's usually like a transition shade, a darker crease shade, a deep outer V shade, and then a shimmer on the eyes. Like exactly what I did today. That's like my go-to. Like when I'm testing a palette, that's gonna be the look that I'm going to try first because it's the one that it's my standard. That's my standard, right? So I measure everything against that. But you start to see when you cannot do that, or when you're searching for a certain shade that you can't find because you're like, oh, where's my green shimmer that I need? And it's not there, right? The other thing is the top row has a couple shades that are just super chalky, like this particular shade here, Bubblegum, which should be, it kind of looks silvery, but it's actually kind of like a white, like shimmer shade, but it's so freaking chalky. It's so chalky. I hate it. I hate this shade. That's the only shade in the palette I hate and I don't understand. Everything else is just kind of like hit and miss, and it just doesn't really work for me. But again, like I've gotten good, pretty looks out of this. I think it is a fun summer palette, and I think the artwork is just stunning. Like I'm not going to get rid of this or anything. I think it's really beautiful, but it just has these things that just aren't my cup of tea. Very last product. Now this one, I actually don't know if I have ever put this in a disappointing products video before. There's a chance I might have. I don't actually remember. But I was kind of looking through my drawers, trying to decide if there was something to include, and I came across this and I was like, you know what? I really hate this. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer. So I really love the Estee Lauder, I think it's just called the Double Wear Concealer. I have a whole review on my channel one of my first reviews ever, and it's one of my most viewed videos because I guess it's one of the only reviews on that concealer. But that was my holy grail concealer for actually a couple of years. Super pigmented, covered beautifully. And so when this actually came out, I was really excited about it because I have really dry under eyes and I'm always looking for kind of that moisturizing concealer, the one that has that kind of satin glowy finish that is kind of hydrating. So when I see the word radiant, I'm like, give it to me. So I ordered this and it's been nothing but disappointing. And I'm gonna compare it to this. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I've never actually reviewed this on my channel, but I really like this. This is everything I just said about the hydrating concealer that I want in my life. This measures up pretty close to that. It's not as hydrating as I would like, but the finish is beautiful. So this one has very, very similar packaging. The shades are kind of slightly different. The e.l.f. shade that I own is called Light Peach, and the Estee Lauder shade that I own is called 1N Light Neutral. So I think you're going to be able to see when I kind of spread these out. So this one is the Estee Lauder. It's really, really thick. It doesn't spread very easily, but when you do kind of spread it out, it's actually very sheer. So it has that very, very thick consistency, but it doesn't have the nice full coverage that you want in a concealer. It actually has very sheer, almost choppy coverage. Like it's not even even. It's not even even. It's just kind of like in some spots it'll be kind of fuller than others, and other spots it'll still be kind of gray underneath. And then if I compare the e.l.f. one to this, it just spreads so much further. Do you see that? So much further and so much easier, and the coverage is so much fuller. I know you can see the difference. So see kind of how choppy and sheer this is, and see how this one kind of remains still pretty full even when I've spread it out further, and it was the same amount of product that I put on my hands. Definitely this is a huge no for me. Don't waste your money on it. Alright, so that is the end of this disappointing products video. I definitely had a lot to say about these things. Leave me your comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope that you're having a great day. I hope that you're speaking kindly to yourself, especially when you look in the mirror. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!